me get the mic. Honey, I got something to say. Ooh, I like that. Can you turn that up for me? No, like, it's Maja. But you know, Maj for short. Ask Maj.
What's up? What's up? It's your girl Maj, and we are back with another episode of Ask Maj, the podcast, where I'm spilling all the real tea. Happy Thanksgiving! Well, you know, almost Thanksgiving because it's Wednesday, but y'all know black people start preparing for Thanksgiving on Wednesday, okay? We need a Thanksgiving Eve because that's when all the black families start preparing their meals, their Thanksgiving dinners. Wednesday evening. So, of course, my episode drops on Wednesday. So, happy Thanksgiving to y'all. I hope you are spending much needed time with your family and taking this much needed break as I am. So I want to make this a little different. I have a Maj moment that I want to share with you. But then I also have a challenge to go along with the Maj moment. So of course, you know, this is Thanksgiving, and you know, Thanksgiving is all about giving thanks. And I know that can sound, you know, kind of cliche because, you know, that's what we hear about all the time, you know, as it relates to Thanksgiving. But that's truly what Thanksgiving is about, right? It's about giving thanks and being grateful for what you have. And so for Thanksgiving, you know, I really want you guys to kind of just reflect on, you know, just this year, you know, this pandemic, being quarantined, everything that you've been through in this year. Just really take this time to reflect. And if I can share just my personal experience, I think the greatest thing that I am thankful for in this season is just being alive, right? It's just life and health. I have so many friends, you know, who have lost loved ones this year, whether it be from COVID or, you know, something else. You know, and just over the past years, you know, whether we're talking about, you know, parents and, you know, brothers and sisters and, you know, significant others, uncles, aunts, cousins, and even, you know, just kind of scrolling through social media, you know, we've seen so many of these celebrities and people that you follow who have, you know, lost loved ones in 2020, and even some celebrity deaths, you know, really hit a lot of people hard, you know, when we think about Kobe and so on and so forth. You know, and then I was reading the news about Bobby Brown's son. He just passed away. I think his name is Bobby Brown Jr., and I can only imagine what he's going through. But if I can say that I'm thankful for anything, it's life and health. It's just still being here. You know, God saw fit to wake me up, you know, each and every day throughout 2020. And I'm so thankful for that. So, you know, and again, you know, in reflecting, just think about even the small things, you know, that, you know, we can take for granted because it's something that, you know, it's what we expect, right? We expect to, you know, leave home and make it back safe, right? We expect to wake up each and every morning and go to sleep, you know, every night. We expect to wake up and talk to our parents, talk to our grandparents, talk to our friends. Like, those are things we expect. So when we do lose them, you know, you never... You realize how much those things really mean to you, right? You realize how much you truly expect, you know, those things. And, you know, they're a blessing. They are a blessing. You know, it is a blessing that I get to wake up, you know, and talk to my mom. You know, it's a blessing that I get to wake up and talk to my best friend. You know, it's a blessing that I get to wake up and record. So just really think about, you know, of course, like I said, that's my biggest thing is just life and health. But just really think about, you know, everything that you're grateful for, from the small things that we expect and subconsciously kind of take for granted to just the big things, you know, like life, having, you know, being able to live under a roof, having food, being able to pay your bills, you know, all of that good stuff. So the Maj moment of this week, of this month, or however long you need it, is just be grateful. Just be grateful. You know, and again, you know, we just throughout 2020, I think, and I'm guilty too, you know, it's easy to complain about what we don't have, right? It's easy to complain about what we've lost. You know, it's easy to complain about, you know, why we're not in the place that we envisioned ourselves to be, right? So I just think over this holiday season and throughout the rest of the year, and obviously just carry it with you, is to just be grateful. Just be grateful. And in that, like I said, I encourage you just to reflect on, everything that you've come through, all the storms that you've come through. And think about those things, like I said, the small things that we sometimes can take for granted, even if it's unintentionally. Think about those things. So yes, the Maj moment, while you are spending time with your friends, your family, during this season, is to just be grateful. Just be grateful instead of thinking about things that you've lost and things that you don't have or things that you wish you had, you wish you had or have. Just be grateful. Just be grateful for what you do have. Think about what you do have. And so in that, like I said, I wanted to give a Maj moment, but I also wanted to challenge you, right? So quick story. I done got my hair done, okay? I'm feeling myself. I feel real Beyonce-esque, okay? Like, feeling myself. And I'm going to tell y'all I got these done for the holiday, but I really got these done because I'm sick of dealing with my hair, child. Natural hair is a full-time job. Oh, my gosh, natural hair is a full-time job. Anyway, not the point. So anyway, I was one of my good friends, my sister, her name is Joy. Shout out to Joy for doing my hair. So I spent all day Saturday with her, right, doing hair, and she was, braiding me up. And VH1 had this series or marathon on, and they called it Throwback Thanksgiving or something like that. So they were like showing all of the old like 90s movies. I remember we watched like Coming to America and a few others, but one that really stuck out to me was Class Act. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen Class Act, but it was about Kid and Play. Martin and Gina were in it. Brown Man was in it, and a whole bunch of other like 90s celebrities, obviously, that we know and are very familiar with. But anyway, there was a scene in the movie where they were all like preparing to go to this party. Like Martin was the DJ. And I remember like one of the characters had gotten in trouble at home and he like snuck out to go to this party. Anyway, this party was a huge deal, right? All the girls were talking about their outfits. The guys were talking about, oh my God, all the honeys are going to be at this party. And it just was a big deal, right? It was a big deal. So my friend and I, we were talking about how, the 90s were just such a different era, right? Like, they didn't care about the things we cared about. You know what I mean? Like, when you went to a 90s party, you were dancing as soon as you got in the door. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the bop, whatever else they were doing. It wasn't about, outfits. It wasn't about who had on what. It wasn't about competition. There were no phones. People weren't in there taking pictures. It wasn't about photo ops. It wasn't about, like I said, competition and Instagram and aesthetics. Like, you really went to have a good time, right? And I mean, we can get into so many different 90s aesthetics, like hair, they didn't wear a lot of makeup. They were just natural beauty. It was really about like, meeting people in person. There was no social media, right? There were no phones in the party. I don't remember watching the movie and at this big party there was a phone. I don't remember it. I don't remember seeing a phone. And it almost like forced you to have fun, right? It forced you to interact. It forced you to really be in there, because I think, a lot of times we can be like at a party, but you're like on your phone. So like you're physically there, but you're mentally not there. Like you're mentally somewhere else. And sometimes that can be the result of social media or the fact that you just have, a million and one other things going on. But anyway, I say all that to say, we were talking about how, it would be so cool to go to a 90s party and like no phones and, just the outfits and the makeup and the hair and just everything, the dancing, it just was completely different. But anyway, I thought about it when I was, watching the show and I was, like I said, I was reflecting on the Maj moment and so on and so forth. But anyway, I want to challenge you. When you go to whatever Thanksgiving function you're going to, whatever event, whether it be at your house, and, whoever you're spending it with, I challenge you to put your phone down and truly, truly be there, right? Like, and I know it's hard. I know it's hard because a lot of people love to post their food. They love to post their family time, and all of that good stuff. I completely get it. But I really, really challenge you to just be there. Be there. Honey, put that phone away. Leave the phone upstairs. Don't worry so much about the photo ops. Like, obviously take pictures, but like, really be in that moment, right? And it goes back to what I was saying about just being grateful. Just be grateful for being there, right? Be grateful that you have family. Be grateful that, you're able to have a Thanksgiving dinner. Some people don't have that. And so I just challenge you, just be there, honey. Put that phone down and just be there. And, I'm challenging y'all, but I'm going to do the same. Honey, you don't need to put every bit of time on your Insta story, everything that happens on your Insta story. You don't need to post your nieces and nephews dancing dancing, or y'all doing karaoke, or grandma in the kitchen cooking. Like I said, maybe if you just have to post, take a picture and of your family and maybe post it later, or whatever the next day or whatever. But I just challenge you, put your phone down and be in the moment. Spend time with your family, honey, with no phones, with no outer distractions, and really, really, really be there. Be there physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, however you want to describe it. But I just challenge you. And like I said, I'm going to take this challenge as well and try to do that. But just be there, honey. Put the phone down and just be there. Just be there. So March moment, be grateful, and challenge is just be there. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited to see and hear about you all's Thanksgiving experiences, and I'll be with my family celebrating Thanksgiving and eating good. So I'm excited about that. And like I said, I'm going to try to do the same, just to kind of leave my phone where it's at and really just be in the moment. So we shall see. But yes, I hope that you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving. I'm not into the episode. We just getting started. But since we was talking about Thanksgiving, I pray that you guys have an amazing, amazing, amazing Thanksgiving. So yes, that is the March moment for this week, for the day, for the hour, for Thanksgiving, for however long you need it. And I hope that that's something that you can really, really cling on to and challenge yourself to do. So, Ask Maj. We got our Ask Maj question for today. And I thought this was a very fitting question for this time. So the question is, if friends or family don't like your significant other, is that a deal breaker? Great question. Okay, so is it a deal breaker? No. Is it a challenge? Is it hard? Yes. Now, so here's the thing. It's not necessarily a deal breaker for me, but what is a deal breaker for me is how you deal with your family not liking me, or your family not getting along with me, or whatever. That's what's going to be the deal breaker for me. Because at the end of the day, I expect you to have my back. I expect you to stand up for me. I expect you to speak up for me. You're not finna let nobody disrespect me. I don't care if it's mama, daddy, nobody's finna disrespect me. None of that. So I think it's about how you deal with it and how you stand up for me. If you don't stand up for me against, your family or whatever they have to say, then that's what's the deal breaker for me. And obviously, I'm not a wife yet. I'm speaking to couples, but the Bible talks about, your wife comes first, honey. Your wife comes first, even before mama. Okay. So I expect you to stand up for me. And like I said, we may not be married, but we're practicing. So, it's about how you stand up for me. It's about how you have my back. It's about how you demand respect from your family for me. That's what's going to be a deal breaker. So if you cannot stand up and let them know, look, y'all don't have to like her, but you're going to respect her. Oh, honey, we don't got nothing to talk about. Now that is a deal breaker. So no, that's tough. That's tough. Being in a relationship where you feel like, your significant other's family or friends don't like you. That is tough. But like I said, for me, it's about how you show up for me. It's about how you stand up for me. It's about how you demand respect from them for me. Which is, like I said, that's what's going to be a deal breaker for me. It's about how you stand up for me. So yeah, definitely a tough situation. And like I said, this is so fitting because I know a lot of people are taking their significant others, to Thanksgiving and Christmas. And a lot of you may even be meeting your significant others, parents or family for the first time. So definitely a very fitting question. And, if you do come across that, like I said, it's up to your significant other to have your back, to stand up for you, like I said, and demand that respect from their family. Point blank period. I don't care who it is. Y'all not finna disrespect me. Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, like I said, that's not necessarily a deal breaker for me. It's about how you show up for me. So yeah, great question. That was awesome. And like I said, I always love to kind of have that advice portion. If you are meeting your significant other's parents for the first time, and maybe this is something that you fear, I would definitely say have this conversation before you go. Set expectations before you go. Yeah, let me let you know, my mama a little ratchet. She might say some comments. If you feel disrespected or uncomfortable, let me know. I'll talk to her or whatever. Like, set those expectations. Don't have your significant other walking into something that's just completely surprising. Set those expectations. Let them know what to look out for, or whatever. I think because we all got those family members that don't have no filter, that just talk, no filter. Child, my granny, that I'm gonna see this Thanksgiving, child, every time I go see her, she said, Masha, where your boyfriend at? I said, Granny, I don't have a boyfriend. And she said, yes, you do. I know you got a boyfriend. You just don't want to tell me about him. Granny, I don't have a boyfriend. So, child, little personal experience, if I can let y'all into my life, this will be I actually do have a boyfriend now, and he will be meeting my granny for the first time, and so I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little, I don't know what she gonna say, child. I do not know what's gonna come out her mouth, but this is something that he and I already talked about. She don't have no filter. She gonna say what she want to say, which is typically how most black grannies are. So have those conversations before, set those expectations about what like I said, what to expect. So yeah, and I'm always gonna have his back no matter what. So yeah, good luck to y'all who meeting your significant others, family and grandparents and papa and granny and whoever else. Cause yeah, I know. Anyway, woo child, please tell me y'all watch this Gucci and Jeezy Verzuz battle, honey. Okay, I don't even know where to start. Hood, ratchet, ghetto, loved it. Like 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Absolutely, that was for the culture. And I wasn't gonna watch it at first because I'm not super. I feel like I should whisper this, but I'm not super hip with Jeezy. I don't know a lot of his songs, but I will say, my HBCU A&T definitely introduced me to this because my friends always joke. They always say, before you went to college, you didn't listen to rap music and you didn't cuss. First of all, I don't cuss. I'm a woman of God. Okay, so I don't know where they got that from. That's number one. Secondly, yes, A&T definitely pulled the hood, the ratchet, the gangster out of me. So shout out to A&T for, showing me who I really am. But first of all, the whole vibe just gave me like house party, like A&T house party back in college. This house party is probably going to get shut down, but we're still here anyway. The neighbors are going to call the cops. Like that's the vibe it gave me. And if you were to ask me, like, if you could describe in one word the battle, honey, I would just say, child. Like, ain't no word to describe the battle. I don't even know where to start. Okay, so let me say the entire battle was like very cringeworthy, very, very intense. And it was one of those things a lot of people kind of compared it to like Brandy and Monica. And I mean, that was cringeworthy. That was very tense. But this was on a whole nother level. I mean, we talking about street, hood, like there was no civility. Is that a word? I don't know if that's a word. It was no cordialness. Like none of that was there. Like it was like, I'm gonna say what I gotta say. I'm gonna tell the truth. Like it is what it is. And so obviously, if you have kept up with Jeezy and Gucci, we know they've had a long-standing beef, about some stuff that happened 20 plus years ago or whatever. And so this was the first time I guess they were speaking to each other, being seen near each other, on this Verzuz battle. So a lot of people were, even just surprised that Gucci, agreed to do this. And so just a quick recap. Like I said, the whole like battle was super cringeworthy, very intense. Gucci was disrespectful. And I mean, his motive on the show, his reason for coming on the battle was not to make up with Jeezy. So I think his motive was to come on diss Jeezy and tell people the truth. Like in his mind, that honey, he didn't even sit down. He wouldn't even sit down. His anxiety had me anxious. Like obviously he was lit on a whole nother level. Like just, I don't know. Obviously, Jeezy came in with a different goal than Gucci did, and that was very, noticeable. It was very evident. And the comments were just like, I would definitely say Jeezy handled that like a bigger person because Gucci was going in. Like Gucci was just the comments, him talking about his $10,000 outfit, and when Jeezy would play a song, Gucci would say that's cute. At some point, he said, go dig your partner up. It was a lot. Like, he just disrespectful throughout the whole thing. And I'm not going to lie. I think after watching it, I almost thought, I'm not going to say almost, it definitely crossed my mind that it was staged. And only because I didn't believe that, like, it was hard for me to believe that they went through that whole battle beefing, well, on Gucci's side, beefing, saying all types of disrespectful stuff to each other. And at the end, they just came together for this kumbaya moment. Like, so at some point, I even tweeted, I was like, I wonder what the rules were to be on this Verzuz. Like, I wonder if it was like, you guys can beef, but at the end, you have to, have a kumbaya moment, or you have to, like, come together and make up. I don't know. But that was really strange for me, like Gucci had no desire to, from what we saw, no desire to make up with Jeezy, you know what I'm saying? No desire to, be cordial or have a kumbaya moment. His motive was to come on there, diss him, and tell people the truth from his point of view. And I mean, he opened the show with a diss song. This is Gucci, let me stop. What, Gucci versus Jeezy versus Battle, Gucci versus something like that. I'm like, oh my God, Chad, Gucci opened the show with a diss. So it just was like, we already knew where that was going. But I will say, the battle was definitely for the culture. And like I said, I'm not too hit with Jeezy. A lot of people were saying he won, I guess, sure, whatever. I'm not too hit with Jeezy, but it was definitely for the culture. Whether you were for Jeezy or for Gucci, like that was definitely for the culture. Like so many people were tuned in. I don't even know how many people were tuned into that, but definitely for the culture. And it was cool at the end to see them kind of come together. I guess at the end, staged or not, I don't know. It was a little weird for me, but like I said, I guess, it was for the culture. So I kind of felt like, why not? Cool. Let's shout out to y'all for doing this for the culture, I guess. But no, that was amazing. Definitely an awesome Versus. And I tell you one thing, Versus know what they be doing with this controversy, bringing on people that don't like each other. Cause like I said, that Monica and Brandy Versus was just as cringeworthy. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it was genuine, if that was the rules, that they had to do a kumbaya moment or whatever. But I guess shout out to Jeezy and Gucci for their kumbaya moment and even just coming together to do the Verses, because that was lit. Okay, I definitely got my life. Okay, and I felt like I was back at A&T at a house party, definitely. So yes, that was awesome. And then Stacey had to come on and give her little spiel about voting. That was a lot, but. I guess for the culture. Anyway, moving on to some celebrity. What is trending? So, of course, in lieu of Thanksgiving, Tyler Perry, this is just so him, so on brand. He donated 5,000 meals to Atlanta families in need at a Thanksgiving giveaway event. So shout out to Tyler Perry for giving back. Congratulations are in order for Miss Summer Walker, who announced that she's pregnant. So her and London on the Track are expecting, and I believe this is his third child. So, yeah. So, moving on. People magazine announced that Michael B. Jordan is the sexiest man alive for 2020. Well-deserved, Michael B. Absolutely. And also in that same spirit, I've been hearing that they're supposed to start shooting or filming Black Panther in 2021, I believe next summer sometime. So I'm excited to see how they plan on doing that. I hope that they do let the sister kind of take the Black Panther role or whatever. Because what I understand is that she took on that role anyway in the original comics. So excited to see where that goes. And I think that gives us some hope for 2021 too, just to kind of keep up with that storyline. Nicki Minaj announced that she has partnered with HBO Max to do a docuseries about her life and career. In her video, she said, it will be a raw, unfiltered look at my personal life and personal journey. So we shall see about that one. Kevin Hart released a new comedy special on Netflix called Zero F's Given. And I believe it was filmed in his house. He talks about, I guess, his views on cancel culture. So I have not had a chance to watch it yet. But I've heard a lot of mixed reviews, and the reviews have been either really, really good or really, really, really bad. So, I need to take some time to watch that and get caught up on Kevin Hart. I'm not a huge fan of stand-up, but, I'll take a look for the culture to see what it is he's talking about. So this weekend, I took some time to watch the Fresh Prince reunion. Oh my God, 10 out of 10 recommend. Highly recommend. Absolutely. That was so amazing. So emotional. Honey, grab the tissues because there were tears shed. So emotional. But it just felt so good to see, I think, for one, them come back together. Like I said, I talked about this before, but it was so nostalgic, right? It was so nostalgic just to see them come back together. And if I can't say, honey, black don't crack, because they all look so good. So good. They look so good. But they came together, just talked about, the most impactful moments from the show and, how they became a real family, even Offset, because they spent so much time together. They talked about, their memories and, what it was like to film the last episode and how sad they were. I remember Jazz, he talked about how, at on the very last show, once his, I guess, role, or how do I want to say it? Like, once his part was done, he said he just left. He was like, he couldn't even say bye. He couldn't do it because he was so sad. But yeah, so it was great. Oh my God, it brought up so many memories, honey. I felt like I was there. I felt like I was a part of the cast. Like, that's how personal and relatable it was. And of course they did a tribute to James Avery. You know, they even took a moment where they were just crying on set, like, oh my God, just so emotional. In a good way though, in a good way, just hashing out those memories and just talking about, you know, Black excellence and, you know, how these moments impacted their lives now. And so Fresh Prince is just so nostalgic. I mean, the Black excellence that came from that and how you related to the show. And that's one thing I love about Fresh Prince is that whatever character you picked, there was something you could relate to, right? There was something you could relate to, this family dynamic somehow, some way. And that's what I loved about it. Like, you could really, really, really relate. One thing that they talked about that I really loved was, they talked about typically, you know, when you're an actor, you don't have much say, you know, in the creative process. You're just an actor. You're just here to, you know, read the lines and bring the character to life. You know, but they talked about how, like, you know, in these particular roles, you know, working with, you know, their execs and producers, they gave them, you know, a little bit of reign over their roles, right? Over, you know, creativity and ideas and so on and so forth. And so, you know, when the writers would put something in there that Black people probably don't say, you know, they were able to speak up and be like, nah, Black people wouldn't do this, or no, Black people wouldn't say that. So I thought that was really interesting. Another thing I thought was interesting and kind of funny was, Carlton literally made up that dance. He said, you know, he came in to do, I always be having lipstick on my teeth. He came in to do, I guess, the table read where they kind of go through, you know, the script and whatnot. And he said there just was a part in the script where it said Carlton dances. Like, that's it. He said there were no specifics. And so, he said, you know, he thought about it. He's like, you know, well, how would this character dance? And then he came up with the Carlton dance. And I'm like, genius. Like, so genius. Like, that was so perfect for that role. Yeah, no, I thought that was amazing. And then they even brought on the OG Aunt Viv, which I thought was just interesting. And her and Will kind of had a conversation and hashed out some of their issues. And, you know, I learned a lot because I never knew what happened with the first Aunt Viv. I didn't know what happened with her. I didn't know that they had kind of a bad history, nor did I know that they hadn't spoken in, I believe, over 20 plus years, 30 years. I had no idea. So it was cool to see that, you know, them come together after so long and hash out their problems and apologize and, you know, hug it out. Like, it just wow. The whole reunion was so emotional. I'm so glad Will did that. Like, I am so glad Will did that. That was definitely for the culture. And if you haven't watched it, I definitely suggest you go watch it. Honey, I had a little free trial with HBO Max. Time to cancel. Okay. But yeah, no, I definitely suggest you go and watch it. That was amazing. That absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like I said, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. So new music. Lil Nas just dropped a new visual for his single, Holiday. Go check that out. It was pretty cool. Definitely a nice little visual. Go check that out. Very creative. City Girls dropped the P-Talk remix with Quavo, Jack Harlow, and Lil Wayne. Kelly Rowland released a new single called Hitman, and in the makings of Hitman, she released that she is announcing her new EP called K next month, December 4th. So of course, talk of the town, Megan dropped her new album called Good News and a new video for her single Body. So I watched Body. I thought it was okay. You know, I thought it was, I guess, typical Meg. You know, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing. Like, it's typical Meg. If anything, I think my favorite part was Taraji, and I just loved the girl Tabria who did the Halloween tribute to Beyonce, the model. But otherwise, I mean, the typical Meg, like, you know, it's no different. It's typical Meg, like typical Meg, I guess. I love Taraji, so typical Meg. Haven't gotten a chance to explore the album yet, to explore Good News yet. Didn't care for the marketing. I didn't like the newspaper look. That didn't do anything for me. And I don't know. Megan's marketing and production team isn't all that for me. Whatever. Anyway, I haven't had a chance to listen to the album, but I have heard mixed reviews. A lot of people said they weren't able to get all the way through it. that it wasn't all that, so on and so forth. So I guess I need to go check that out for myself. So of course, Grammy nominations are out, and of course, my girl Beyonce is in the lead. Okay, but y'all should have known that. Y'all should have known. I mean, who else? Who else? Who else than me? Who else than the queen? But anyway, she's followed by so she's in the lead with 9 nominations, followed by Roddy Ricch, DaBaby, and Megan Thee Stallion. So I'm excited for that, and I believe Trevor Noah is set to host the Grammys. So I'm excited for that, because Trevor Noah do not hold back. He says what he has to say. Child, and the Grammys is a white award show. So we'll see how that goes. I can't remember what the date is for that. But the nominations are out. Trevor Noah is hosting, so I'm excited to watch this year's Grammys, and I'm excited to see how they're going to do it, considering, everything has been so virtual now. But yeah, so that's all y'all have. That's all I have for y'all today. I didn't want to do a super long episode because I want you to enjoy your time with your family. I know a lot of people are traveling and preparing for Thanksgiving. So I hope y'all listening to this while y'all whipping up some yams and whipping up some mac and cheese and whipping up some potato salad, because that's what I'm going to be doing, okay? So yes, again, I pray that y'all have an amazing Thanksgiving. Remember what I said. Try to be there, be grateful, and just be in the presence of your family. And spend time with there. Be there with every aspect of you, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, all of that stuff. Like, really be there, really soak up all of that love, and all of that gratefulness while you are with your family. And again, I just pray that y'all have an amazing Thanksgiving, and I will catch y'all next week. Thank you so much for listening.
Honey, I got something to say. I like that. Can you turn that up for me? No, like, it's Maja. But Maj for short. Ask Maj.